Everyone in the room thought they knew who she was, until the day the floor shined brighter than their manners and her hidden truth turned their world upside down. If you love surprising, emotional, real-life stories, make sure to subscribe to the channel so you never miss what happens next. The morning sunlight streamed through the 43rd floor windows of Solix Global, washing the glossy office floor in a soft glow. It was the kind of sunlight that made everything look almost unreal, like the building was floating above the city rather than planted firmly in downtown Atlanta. People moved around with their coffees and clipboards, their tailored suits crisp, their steps brisk, their conversations clipped and polished to match the environment. Yet for Alana Browning, the sunlight felt different that morning, almost heavy. It pressed on her shoulders as she stepped off the elevator, clutching her oversized caramel brown handbag against her hip. She tried to keep her breathing steady, though her heart tagged along behind her like a persistent drummer tapping out a nervous beat. Today wasn't a normal workday. Today was the day she planned to tell her department manager she needed time off, time to process the news she'd received the night before. A letter, a signature, a number with more zeros than she had ever seen in her life. She hadn't slept a single minute. But as she walked across the immaculate white floor of the executive wing, today's greatest challenge wasn't the inheritance. It was something far more ordinary and far more immediate. Her bag strap snapped, the world paused, then gravity did the rest. Her bag dropped, spilled, rolled, and erupted across the executive floor in a scatter of notepads, pens, coins, worn receipts, her late grandmother's locket, and the very letter that had changed her life. Everything tumbled, including her composure. She fell to her knees instinctively, reaching for the locket first. It slid under a chrome chair leg, glinting under the office lights. Her eyes burned, not from pain, but from the sudden, overwhelming rush of embarrassment. She hated drawing attention, yet the sudden noise drew it anyway. From the glass conference room, several employees had been in the middle of a strategy meeting. Now they stood, reshuffling, murmuring, leaning forward as if watching a scene unfold on a stage. Laughter floated out, not cruel, but careless. Careless enough to sting. Alana swallowed hard. The pressure behind her eyes threatened to spill too, but she kept gathering her things with trembling hands. The meeting door swung open. A group of executives stepped out, led by Evan Carlisle, the impeccably dressed CEO in his emerald green suit. His polished shoes tapped against the floor as he approached. He wasn't angry, just amused. The kind of amusement that landed like a pebble thrown into a still pond, creating ripples of discomfort for everyone but the person who threw it. He offered a stiff smile. "Whoa," he said lightly, looking at the mess. "Rough morning, huh?" Alana forced a tiny, polite smile without meeting his eyes. "I'm so sorry," she whispered. "I'll clean it up." Behind Evan, the team of executives chuckled again, though a few looked awkward, almost guilty for reacting. Alana's fingers trembled as she reached for the scattered papers. The letter, rested upside down near Evan's shoe. He nudged it gently toward her with the tip of his polished loafer. "Don't worry about it," he said in that breezy tone people use when they're not really thinking. "Just try to keep your things together next time. We've got clients walking through here." The words weren't harsh, but they tightened something inside her chest. She felt heat rise along her neck. Her heartbeat thudded painfully. "I understand," she managed. Some employees lingered longer than necessary, curiosity shining in their eyes at the sight of her kneeling on the floor gathering her belongings. And that, right there, was the moment something inside Alana cracked. Not loudly, not visibly, quietly, like a whisper folding into itself. She had spent years working long hours, arriving early, leaving late, taking on tasks no one else wanted, offering quiet excellence without ever asking for recognition. She had built her career with patience and grace. Yet here, in this shining office with its sleek lines and sky-high windows, she felt smaller than she had in years. Her eyes glossed. She blinked fast, but one tear managed to escape anyway, dropping silently onto the locket in her palm. Evan noticed. He wasn't unkind, just unaware, caught in the swirl of his own responsibilities, his own pressures, his own routine. But seeing a tear slip down Alana's cheek pulled him out of that autopilot. "Hey," he said softly, shifting his tone. "Are you okay?" She nodded quickly, wiping her eyes with the back of her hand. "I'm fine, just an off morning. It happens," he said, offering a small smile that felt more genuine this time. "Take a moment if you need it." But he didn't help her pick anything up. He didn't ask if she needed assistance. He simply stepped around her and rejoined his team, whose laughter faded into a professional murmur as they walked back into the conference room. The door closed, silence returned. For a long moment, Alana stayed kneeling on the floor, surrounded by her scattered belongings. Her tears were silent, but they were real, hot, frustrated, and tired. She wasn't crying because of embarrassment. She was crying because no one had bothered to ask why this might not be just a rough morning. No one imagined that the woman picking up her scattered things held a secret that could change the course of her life, and possibly theirs too. Alana eventually gathered everything and returned to her desk. She sat with her hands resting on the leather of her bag, staring at the letter tucked inside. "Miss Browning," it began, "we are pleased to inform you." She swallowed hard. Her late grandmother, who had passed away 3 weeks earlier, had left her the entirety of an estate Alana never knew existed. A lifetime of savings, investments, and properties across the country, assets that had quietly grown over decades. The inheritance total, $80 billion. The number was absurd, unimaginable, larger than some national budgets. Her grandmother had been frugal, quiet, unassuming. Alana had assumed she lived modestly, stretching her dollars like most people she knew. But her grandmother had lived an extraordinary hidden life, saving, investing, building something monumental in silence. And she had left it all to Alana. That was why the letter made Alana cry, not because of the money, but because of what it meant. Her grandmother had believed in her, so deeply, so fully, beyond what Alana had ever believed of herself. She ran her thumb over the signature again, a lump forming in her throat. The money was overwhelming, yes, but the message behind it was even more so. "Live boldly, you are worth more than the world ever told you." Her grandmother's final words echoed in her memory. And yet, here she was, feeling small on an office floor. The day dragged on, meetings, emails, conversations that felt hollow while the truth weighed heavily on her chest. By noon, she had made a decision. She gathered her things, carefully this time, and walked quietly toward Evan's office. Her breath was even, her steps steady, her heart strangely calm. She tapped lightly on his open door. "Evan, do you have a moment?" He looked up, from his laptop, surprised. "Alana, hey, everything okay?" "Yes," she said gently. "I just need to talk with you about something important." He motioned for her to take a seat, but she remained standing. "I wanted to thank you for the opportunity to work here," she began. "I've learned a lot, and I'm grateful." His brows lifted slightly. People usually began hard conversations with softer words. "But I need to step away," she continued, effective immediately. His confusion deepened. "Step away as in, take time off?" "No," she said, "step away entirely." "You're resigning?" "I am." "Did something happen?" he asked. "This morning, was it because of that incident?" "I'm really sorry if it came off the wrong way." Her expression softened. "It wasn't about this morning. Though the moment did remind me of something I've been forgetting." "What's that?" She met his eyes, steady and calm. "My worth." Evan froze, not offended, but taken aback by the quiet power in her voice. Alana continued, "I've spent years working hard, often behind the scenes. I never minded that, but I've been holding myself back. And life has given me an unexpected reminder that it's time for something different." He searched her face. "Are you going to another company?" "No," she said simply. "I'm going to build something of my own." She didn't go into details. Not yet. She didn't need to. He nodded slowly, respect softening his features. "I wish you the very best, Alana. Truly." Her smile was small but genuine. "Thank you." She walked out of the office tower for the last time, disappearing into the Atlanta breeze with her caramel bag and her grandmother's locket clasped firmly in her hand. 3 months later, Solix Global was buzzing with news. A new foundation, one of the largest in the nation, had launched in Atlanta. Its mission: elevate underserved communities, empower young entrepreneurs of color, expand access to education, housing, and health resources, and cultivate opportunities that have been missing for generations. The foundation's private donor insisted on anonymity for the first month, but when the press finally announced the founder's identity, the entire Solix executive wing nearly dropped their morning coffees. Tech philanthropist Alana Browning launches $80 billion National Empowerment Fund. Evan sat in his office, blinking at the headline. The ops director reread it twice. The finance team gasped. Someone in HR whispered, "That's impossible." Another clutched their chest. A junior executive nearly fell out of her chair. Not one of them had imagined that the woman kneeling on the office floor months earlier, picking up scattered pens while they left, was the same woman now reshaping cities across the country. And what they remembered most wasn't the money. It was the moment she said, "I've been forgetting my worth." The whole company started re-examining the way they treated people, not just employees but everyone. It became a quiet turning point in the culture, a ripple effect Alana would never witness directly, yet had sparked simply by walking away in dignity. As for Alana, she didn't think much about the office anymore. She thought about her grandmother, her community, her mission. Every morning she walked into her new headquarters, a warm, welcoming building in the heart of Atlanta, not with fear, but with purpose. And on her desk, framed in gold, sat her grandmother's handwritten words. "Live boldly." Alana smiled at them each day, ready to continue building a legacy rooted not in wealth but in compassion. Because sometimes life doesn't just change with a letter. Sometimes it changes when everything spills, and you finally decide to pick yourself up in a new direction. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. More emotional, powerful, real-life stories are coming your way, and you don't want to miss a single one.